Hi, and welcome to week 2 of your literature course at Troy University. Thank you guys very much for your engaged responses in the discussion board area. I would like to take the time right now to explore some of the various strengths and areas of focus that you pointed out in your discussion postings. Remember, your discussion postings are going to be spaces where you get to try out what you think about the literature and, of course, to provide some feedback and some give and take with your fellow students. It's really a space that shouldn't feel punitive, and that's why in the first discussion posting, I kind of let it be general. It's kind of like we're just getting to know each other, and so if we were in a classroom, you wouldn't be graded yet on how you're engaging the literature. Therefore, in the discussion postings, it's less about kind of how you say it and more about what you're saying or what you're pointing out. Um, what I found in the discussion postings was really exciting. I think we had a number of people that posted and made some very salient and prescient observations. And I'm actually looking at your postings now, so when I'm looking over, I'm not like disjointed, but I'm really kind of pulling in some ideas. I think Sadie Tucker's post, who is the first post, she set the bar really high. This is an excellent post. It captures the frame and then it goes into the literature and explains how and what about these pieces actually reference the ideas in realism and other areas. And so I think if you want to think of a good model, Sadie's provided one for us. I would have liked to see a little more editing with this. I'm just going to let you know. I'm a literature person and a writing person, and so I like to see the proper use of commas and things like that. So say take some time and do some editing. But as far as content and intent, Sadie did an excellent job of engaging and thinking about how literature could function, and also how the readings exemplified realism and local color realism. Um, April, I think, also built on what Sadie did and kind of gave a good paragraph. While I don't think a paragraph is a bad thing, I think that one paragraph of response is probably too little for a college response. I would suggest instead that you use at least 3 paragraphs with a main idea, evidence, analysis, and a link in each of those paragraphs so that you're really thinking about it. That's a great strategy to use, not just for this class, but for all classes with discussion boards. Really think about what you want to say and how you want to say it, and then use that structure to kind of put it out there. I see that April has about 2 ideas in here, one that's really about realism and one really about naturalism, and it could have been made a bit stronger by just focusing on, like having those be 2 paragraphs instead of cramming them into one. Um, I do think that there are some students that just have like 2 or 3 sentences, and that's just that's not even participating, right? I think instead you need to think about if you were in a classroom, what kind of information would you need to share, and how would you share that? And so I hate to call out Gregory, but Gregory, I know you're like the last poster, but your discussion board is just not as fully developed as it could be. And so I think you need to spend some time really considering, well, how do these different works exemplify elements from that overview or that discussion, and then really explore how you can connect those ideas clearly and carefully to the readings and to the observations. Um, I think Colin Turner's post was fantastic. Colin and Sadie both set the bar very high. So thank you guys for your engaging responses. I absolutely loved it, that Colin, that you took the time to really consider how realism and local color realism functions. I think your reading of Chickamauga was fantastic because it is very much about the horrors that this little boy sees. And that was such a great connection that you did there. But your whole overview was fantastic. So was Shanita Rockamore's fantastic posting. Those would be my top 3. If I was like Letterman, who's no longer with us, with my top 10, those would be my top 3 postings. Not that the rest of them didn't bring up amazing points. I mean, Jasmine brought up this point that really got me thinking, in the sense that it isn't, I guess you'd say, it isn't about focusing on the plot, but using real life situations, and to kind of think about the idea that the Tar Baby story really could be shine a light on reality. So that kind of thought and that kind of exploration was so keen, as well as Sonia's observation about, and also Sonia setting the bar high too, about kind of the way that these stories change from when you were a child to who you are now. We have a variety of these areas. So what I will do each week is each week I will post an overview like this. But instead of talking about the structure, we will instead keep building on literature. The postings, the videos will be anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes long. I will try to engage everyone's work in there, and there are going to be portions of it that I will also mention references to the final exam and the midterm exam. So these are going to be another bulk of kind of the time you're going to spend in the class. And it should be a lot of fun. I like to do the videos because I think in a distanced classroom that you get a chance to get a little more engaged if you can see me, and I can refer to what you're doing. I get to know who you are and how you think. So for week 2, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing your next set of readings. So I'm going to expect a little bit more in your discussion postings when you talk about mainstream realism and African American realism. We are going to be reading Chestnuts, The Passing of Grandison, Paul Dunbar's poetry, and we're going to reread Uncle Remus. So you're going to have this pulled in too. And you did that before, so you should have, this will be a rereading. And then of course we're going to read Henry James, The Art of Realism. And so this week started on Sunday and it'll end on Sunday. A good practice would be to have your initial discussion posting done by Thursday, and then that way you have the weekend to respond to at least one peer. And that's the way that you will receive 100 points, is if you respond to the peer. You get up to 50 for your response, and then up to 50 for your response to your peer. If you do have any questions, many of you have reached out to me, so please feel free to just keep on reaching out to me. I look forward to seeing those responses and to having this kind of engaged dialogue with you. So have a great evening, and keep me posted.